With the end of the competitive season of 2025, it's time to talk about the new rosters and news of the season 2026. So let's start with the format of the competitions. Here we have the calendar of the competition of 2026. In January, we'll have the pre-season invitational, with the best teams compete in a tournament before the start of the spring split, in February. In May, we'll have the Brawl Cup, and in June, we'll start the summer split of monthly finals. In October, we'll have the last chance qualifier, and in November, the World Finals. Now let's talk about the spots. We start with the slots of NA. They have 2 slots for the Brawl Cup, 2 slots for Worlds and 1 for LCQ. South America and East Asia have the same number of slots as North America. These regions benefit from these slots. EMEA instead don't benefit from the 2 Brawl Cup slots, 3 for Worlds and the single one for LCQ. I mean, EMEA remain the most competitive region, but from the last year the slots are less. In CISA there's only 1 Brawl Cup slots, so they must win or at least get second place in Brawl Cup to have chance to qualify to Worlds. China have 2 Brawl Cup slots and 2 LCQ slots. They have more chance in the Brawl Cup. Brawl Cup that give a slot for Worlds and 1 slot for LCQ. LCQ will give only 2 slots for Worlds. If you did some math, you've noticed that the slots for LCQ and Worlds are less than the last season. In fact, this year we'll have 12 teams in Worlds like in 2024, and we'll have only 8 teams in LCQ, 2 of them taking the slots for Worlds. Disappointing especially for LCQ. The points in the second split will go from 2 times to 1.5 times. I like this change because now the second can't destroy the hard work of the first split, but will be harder for the teams to come back if they had a bad first split. Well, now we can start with all the rosters for 2026. Starting with EMEA and with the number 1 seed from EMEA, SK Gaming. They confirmed until 2027 Ope and Yoshi in the player role, and Pedro in coach role. The third member will not be Joker because he left for another team, but Naui from FUT Esports. This is an interesting roster and can be another god pick from SK. Well, let's talk about the World Champions 2024, Humble. The roster, even if they trolled for the second time the entire community with this post, will be the same, with Boss, Luki and Symantec. This roster was insane in 2024 and 2025, so maybe will be the same in 2026. So let's talk about Team Heretics, that will have iChaos, the only one from the 2025 roster, and Subeam and Marco from Novo Esports. This roster seems good and can do a lot in this season. Okay, now let's talk about the glorious Italian Kings, the team or a totem. No, sorry, I mean Reply Totem. This year it's very interesting. The roster will obviously have Mori and Maru that are trapped in Totem for the rest of their life, and Joker. This is the same roster that won the ESL in Japan in 2023. Pretty interesting. Okay, now let's speed up a little bit the things cause probably I broke your balls. FUT Esports will probably sign with Angel Boy, Gesty, and Nob, that are destroying everyone in Scrim. Papyrus Supermassive disbanded, so Filippo, Enraged and Terry have signed with Novo Esports. We don't know a lot about the rosters of Xperion and Inner Circle, but there are some free agent roster, starting with Meow, Carpi, and Rama that I think will sign with Inner Circle. After we have Roop, Biso, and Amos that for me could sign with Xperion, and Dreyage, Gero and Lenane, that could sign with Navi. Yeah, because Navi it's coming back in Europe after 2 years in East Asia, and 2 years without a qualification for World Finals. There is a last free agent roster, with Salty, Amos and Arthur, and there is a rumour that they are going in an org that disbanded some year ago, Big. Okay, now it's time to talk about the East Asian region, starting with Crazy Raccoon, the 2025 World Champions but that already lost against my god IZ. Unfortunate, Tensai, IZ have the frank difference. Okay, stop the glazing, let's focus on the rosters. The Raccoons have the same roster with Milkrio, Tensai, and Moya. Now let's move to Legend Kenji, the best Asian team. You know already why, right? Bruh. Legend Kenji, it's a free agent team with Kenji, Akapi, and the Frank Man, the goat I see. This is the most powerful, Aura Farmer and Frank roster in Asia. Well, now let's move on SK Kalalas. Yeah, SKC decide to sign a roster in East Asia. The roster is formed by Naipishu, Ghost T, and Kuru, the 2022 World Champion. Okay, now let's move on Zeta Division. That made only one change, really strange. This year Zeta will have Saidatampo, Suzuku, and Batterman. It's an interesting pick Zeta. After we are free agent, formed by Shu and... I am not allowed to read and understand Japanese. The last team in East Asia is Rival Esports, and they will have Ryohei, Totaron, and Udapin. Honestly, I know only Ryohei, so I don't know if that can be a good roster. Sorry guys. Okay, now let's move to North America and let's talk about the first team, Tribe Gaming. The team have Luffy, RBM, and Diego Gamer. They can do really well in online season, but I think they will stuck in LAN. Now let's move to KDS Esports, that announced the roster with the Node Booby, Sans, and Patchy. I really like Patchy, but in 2025 Bobby and Sans didn't make great think so. We will see. After we have Stamina, that confirmed the roster with Pain, Tacos, and Kit Carlos. No sorry, I mean Juan Carlos. This roster in Worlds was insane, so I have good hopes for this year. After we have Vatic, a new org that signed with Azlevi, Rafiki, and Belol. They are rookies, but I think they can do pretty well. Elevate could sign a roster with OG, Vegeta, and Ducky. They are free agents now, but if Elevate don't quit Brawl Stars, may Calc sign with them. Let's talk about another free agent roster, with Zolan, Second Best, and Zeus. I don't see that much this roster, but can surprise everyone. Let's talk about the two last teams in NA, Team Electros, with Doing, Memon, and Snoy, that have the highest win rate in Scrim in NA, and a free agent roster, with Tyrant, Zemp, and Alienes. Okay, now let's fly to the last region, South America. The first team it's Loud, that confirmed Edenho, Kyodog, and Firecrow. They were strong in 2025, so I think they will make it in 2026 too. After we have SKC, with RHZ, Christian, and Pekka. A bit toxic, but they seem strong. Eternal will have Motep, Jubilu, and Korba. I don't see that much this roster, but probably I'm wrong. After we have Caio Perro, a free agent roster with Derp, Doritos, and the Chilean King, Loco. I mean, they are the legend Kenji of NA, so they are strong. After we have Olimpo squad, with Brabau, Icecrow, and Golden. This was the Alpha 7 roster in 2025 and didn't even make the LCQ, so I don't know what I can expect from this roster. Zoraida Gang is formed by Joka, Meliodas, and Brian. I mean, they are good, but I don't see that much Meliodas since the gene pool. The last roster in SA, it's New Heights Gaming, formed by Prosy, Wesley, and Portox. I know only Prosa, so I don't know. There are two last rosters, Revenant and Toxic Lotus, but I don't know a lot about the new rosters, but I think TL will be the same as 2025. And in Revenant there is a rumor that Response is retiring, so the substitute will be Hiroshi. Well, after that I can say thank you for watching the video and see you next time. Remember that I see it's the GOAT.